love. But we can feel this love and extrapolate divine love from the love that we feel for each other, the love that motivates us to zoom in, to come in, to make everything we could to make this special day possible. So when we read Ahavah, let us focus on this love, on this divine love manifested in human beings. Ahavah Haftanu, Adonai Eloheinu, Chadla Gibla Yitera, Chamad Aleinu, Afilu Malkeinu Ba'avur Shemcha Hagadol, ובעבור אבותינו שפתחו בה, ותלמדנו חוקי חיים, לעשות עצמך בלבב שלם, כן נכוננו, העינינו בתורתך, ודבק ליבנו במצוותיך, ויחד לבבינו לאחווה ולעילת שמך, למען לא נבוש ולא נקלב, כי אל פועל ישועות אתה, ובנו בחרת מכל עם ולשון, וקרבתנו מלכנו, לשמך הגדול באחווה, להודות לך ולאחדך ולהרחבה את שמך, ברוך אתה אדוני, הבוחר בעמות ישראל, באחווה לאחווה. Blessed are you, God, who chooses your people Israel in love, to show love. Now we come to Shema, the words of the Shema on page 212. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Love the eternal your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your might. These words I command you today shall be upon your heart. Repeat them to your children and talk about them when you sit in your home and when you walk in the street, when you lie down and when you rise up. Secure them as a sign upon your hand and let them be as reminders before your eyes. Write them on the doorposts of your home and at your gates. We now read the second paragraph of the Shema on page 214. And then on page 216, we have a reading that reminds us of the importance of the telethon that Jake and Megan are wearing today for the first time as Jewish adults. The Eternal said to Moses, "Speak to the children of Israel and tell them that each generation should put tassels on the corner of their clothes and put a blue thread on the corner tassel. Then when this tassel catches your eye, you will remember all the commands of the Eternal and do them. Then you will no longer wander after the desires of your heart and your eyes which led you to lust. Then you will remember all my commands and do them, and you will be set apart for your God. I am the Eternal, your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, and all the land of Egypt like down, to be your own God. I, the Eternal, am your God." And with this hope that we are slowly leaving Egypt, we say the words on page 217. True is your word forever. It is certain for us. It is firm, accepted, and good. It is true that the Eternal God is our sovereign, the strength of Jacob, the defender of our safety. God endures from generation to generation. God's rule and faithfulness stand firm forever. It is true that you are the faithful one, our God, and God of our ancestors, who rescues and delivers us. So may you be known in this difficult time. There is no God besides you. עזרת אבותינו התחו מעולם, מגן מושיע לכם ולבניכם אחריכם בכל דור ודור, אשר איש שישמע אל מצוותיך ותורתך ודברך ישים על ליבו, התחו ראשון והתחו אחרון, ומבלעדיך אלינו מלך גואל ומושיע, ממצרים גאלתנו אדוני אלוהינו, ומבית עבדים בנתנו, משה ומרים ובני ישראל, לך אנו שירה, בשמחה רבה, ואמרו כולם, מחמוך בימים אדוני, מחמוך בדרך הקודש, נורא תחילות, עושה פלא. On the shore of the sea, those who were rescued sang a new song in your praise. Together all of them thanked you and proclaimed you as sovereign, Adonai Yimloch, Leolam Va'ed. and then when their feet hit steady ground, they place the vocal visual with the words Sur Israel. Sur Israel, Kumar Ezrat Israel, Goaleinu Adonai Tzavot Shmo, Kedosh Israel, Baruch Atah Adonai, Gaal Israel. And regardless if you are on your screen or here with me in the sanctuary, behind the screen, behind the plexiglass screen, please stand down for the words of the Amidah on page 222. Adonai Sefatai Iftach, Ufi Yagit Techilatecha, Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elokei Avotenu, ve'Elokei Imotenu, Elokei Abraham, Elokei Sarah, Elokei Yitzchak, Elokei Rivka, Elokei Yaakov, Elokei Rachel, Elokei Leah, Chelech HaGadol v'Hagibor v'Hanra, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Konech HaKol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גואל לבני בניכם, למען שמו באחווה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם, מוקד שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחייב את עטרה להושיע, מוריד חתן, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחייב אותי ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מחמוך בעל גבורות, ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה המתים. We continue with the words of the Kedusha on page 226. מקדש את שמך בעולם, כשמש שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוא כל הארץ כבודו. לעומתם ברוך יאמרו, ברוך כבוד אדוני במקומו. ממקומך מלכנו תופיע, ותמלוך עלינו, כי מחכים אנחנו לה. ובדברי קודשך כתוב לאמור, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור, hallelujah. We declare your greatness to all generations, and to all eternity we proclaim your holiness. Your praise shall never depart from our mouth, for you are God, the great and holy sovereign. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el, HaKadosh. Moses rejoiced at the gift of his destiny, for you called him a faithful servant. You set a radiance about his head when he stood before you on Mount Sinai, bringing down his hand the 2 tablets of stone, on which is written the Shabbat command, and so it is written in your Torah. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת, לדורותם ברית עולם, ביני ובין בני ישראל עוד היא לעולם. כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, רצנה במנוחתנו, קדשנו במצוותיך, שים חלקנו בתורתך, סבנו מטובך, שמח נפשנו בישועתך, ותחל ליבנו לעובדך באמת. וחנכילנו אדוני אלוהינו, באחווה וברצון, שבת קודשך, וינוחו בה כל ישראל, מקדשי שמך, ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת. רצה אדוני אלוהינו בעמך ישראל, ולתפילתם שעה, וברחמך הרבים, כך תצבענו ותשש פנתך על ציון. ותחזינה עינינו בשובך לציון ברחמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, המחזיר שכינתו לציון. מודים אנחנו לך, שתחו אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, לעולם ועד. צורנו, צור חיינו ומגן אישנו, התחו לדור ודור. נודה לך ונספר תחילתך, על חיינו המסורים בידיך, ועל נשמותינו הפקודות לך, ועל ניסך שבכל יום עמנו, ועל נפלאותיך בתוכתך, שבכל עת ערב בבוקר וצהריים, חטוף כי לא עלו רחמך, חברך לכן כי לא תמוך חסדיך, כי מעולם קיווינו לה. We thank you every moment, evening, morning, and noon, for the acts of wonders and the acts of goodness that we experience from you, including this possibility of having Megan and Jake's family and our community with us today. For this we say, Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha, ulecha na'eh lechodot. Blessed are you, God, known as goodness, whom it is right to praise. I will see the blessing on page 233. Grant us peace, goodness and blessing, life, grace and kindness, justice and mercy. Source of our life, bless us all together with the light of your presence. For in the light of your presence you give us, our living God, law and life, love and kindness, justice and mercy, blessing and peace. And in your eyes it is good to bless your people Israel with the strength to make peace. Baruch atah Adonai, chamavarech amo Yisrael, b'shalom. Blessed are you, God, blessing your people Israel with peace. We now will take a moment for our personal prayer on page 234. And we join our voices together in the words of Oseh Shalom, also on page 234. Oseh Shalom Bibromav, Kuyaseh Shalom, Aleinu ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל העולם, ויאמרו Amen. We now coming to the moment that we were all waiting for, the moment when we ask Jacob Megan to the Bima. And it's going to be a different concert because obviously with only the family in the room, we'll not be parading the scroll. So it is a new normal, new for all of us. But hopefully, with time, we'll have more people joining us in the sanctuary as we get used to the new normal. So now it is my pleasure to ask Jake and Megan and Jake, to the Bima, and Larry will accompany them. And as you see, separate from them by a screen so that we can all be safe. And now it is the time for our main Mitzvah to open the ark. And while the scroll is undressed, and then we move to the reading of the Ten Commandments.
V'daber Elohim et kol ha'advarim ha'eleh lemor. Anochi Adonai Elohecha, asher hotzeiticha me'eretz Mitzrayim mibeit avadim.
I am the eternal your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the camp of slavery.
Lo yihiyeh lecha Elohim acherim al panam. Lo t'aseh lecha chesed v'chol t'muna. Asher b'shamayim mima'al v'asher ba'aretz mitachat v'asher b'olim mitachat la'aretz. לא תשתחווה לכם ולא תעבדם, כי אנוכי אדוני אלוהיך, אל פניו הכל את עוון אבות על בנים, על שלישים ועל רביעים נשא, ועושה חסד לאלפים לאוהביו ולשומרי מצוותיו.
You shall have no other gods but me. You shall not make yourself an idol in the likeness of anything which is in the sky above, or in the earth below, or in the deeps under the earth. You shall not worship them nor serve them, for I, the eternal your God, am a demanding God, burdening the children down to the third and fourth generations with their father's guilt if they hate me, but showing kindness to thousands of generations if they should love me and keep my commands.
לא תישא את שם אדוני אלוהיך, לשווא כי לא ינקה אדוני את אשר יישא את שמו לשווא.
You shall not use the name of the eternal your God falsely. The eternal will not excuse anyone who uses the divine name falsely.
זכור את יום השבת לקדשו, ששת ימים אדוני תעבוד ועשית כל מלאכתך, ביום השביעי שבת לאדוני אלוהיך לא תעשה כל מלאכה אתה ובינך וביתך עבדך ואמתך ופלטך וגרך אשר ישורך. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, את הים ואת כל אשר בם, וינח ביום השביעי על כן ויברך אדוני את יום השבת וקדשו.
Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. You have 6 days to labor and do all your work, but the seventh day shall be a Sabbath for the eternal your God. That day you shall do no work, neither you nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your servant, man or woman, nor your cattle, nor the stranger who lives in your home. For in 6 days the Eternal made heaven and earth, the seas and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Therefore God blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy.
כבד את אביך ואת אמך, למען יאריכון ימיך על האדמה אשר אדוני אלוהיך נותן לך.
Respect your father and your mother, so that the days of your life be fulfilled in the land which the Eternal your God.
You shall not murder.
Lord Tina.
You shall not commit adultery.
No.
You shall not.
Lord Tane Raksa et Shaker.
You shall not discriminate.
Lord Tachmod Beitnecha. Lord Tachmod Eshet Reyecha. V'Avador, V'Amator, V'Shoro, V'Chamoro, V'Chol Asher L'Reyecha.
You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, nor his servant man or woman, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is your neighbor's.
Now we come to the moment when Nick will do the Chakra and we'll see as a congregation what Jake and Megan are going to read for us, literally in a second. And now we're coming to our first Aliyah. And our first Aliyah will be given, will be read, of course, by the twins, but will be given to the proud father of the twins. So without further ado, it is my pleasure to call Nala Amot Aaron ben Benjamin Berakya of Bnei Mitzvah Likriyat HaTorah.
Baruch et Adonai Hamorach.
Baruch Adonai
Baruch Adonai Hamorach le'elam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu le'olam, asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah. Amen.
Lo yeh hakohanim חביב, כל שבט לוי, חלק בנחלה עם ישראל, אישי אדוני, בנחלתו יחלון, בנחלה לא יהיה לו בקרב אחיו, אדוני הוא נחלתו, כאשר דיבר לו, וזה יהיה משפט הכהנים לעת האמת. זורקי הזבח ימשור עם זה, ונתן הכהן הזרוע בחיים הקרבה. ראשית תיגנך, תירושך ויצורך בראשית. גייס צונך תיתן לו, כי בו בחר. אדוני אלוהיך מכל שבטיך, לעמוד ותשרת בשם אדוני, ולמנה כל הימים.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהים מלך אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו, ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה. אמן.
The Levitical priests, the whole tribe of Levi, shall have no portion of territory in Israel. They shall live off only the Eternal's offerings as their portion, and shall have no portion among their brother tribes. The Eternal is their portion, as he promised them. This is what the priests shall receive from the people. Everyone who offers a sacrifice, whether an ox or a sheep, must give the shoulder, the cheeks, and the stomach to the priest. You shall also give him the first fruits of your new grain and wine and oil, and first shearing of your sheep. The Eternal your God has chosen him and his descendants out of all your tribes to be in attendance for service in the name of the Eternal forever.
And now it is my great pleasure to call to the Bima the very, very proud mother of our Bnei Mitzvah. So without further ado, I would like to call Nala Amot, Aliyabat, Abraham Vesara, and our Bnei Mitzvah, Likriyat Batorah.
Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher achavanu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. וכי יבוא הלוי מאחד שעריך, מכל ישראל אשר הוא גר שם, ובא בכל אהבת נפשו אל המקום אשר יבחר אדוני. משרת בשם אדוני אלוהיו וכל אחיו הלוויים העומדים שם לפני אדוני. חלק כחלק אלוהינו נבעתי קרב על האבות, כי אתה בא אל הארץ, אשר אדוני אלוהיך נותן לך. לא תלמד לעשות תועבות הגויים ההם. לא ימצא מכה באוויר ולא יביטו באש חוסם חוסמים ועונה לנחש מחשב. וקובר ושואל וירומי ודורש המתים כי תועבת אלה ובגלל אדוני כל עושה אלה ובגלל התועבות האלה אדוני אלוהיך מוריש אותם מפניך. תמים תהיה עם אדוני אלוהיך. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה. If a Levite would go from any of the settlements throughout Israel where he has been residing to the place that the Eternal has chosen, he may do so whenever he pleases. He may serve in the name of the Eternal his God, like all his fellow Levites who are there in attendance before the Eternal. They shall receive equal shares of the Jews, without regard to personal gifts or heritage. When you enter the land that the Eternal your God has given you, you shall not learn to imitate the abhorrent practices of those nations. No one among you shall practice child sacrifice, tell the future, cast spells, or try to summon or contact ghosts. For anyone who does such things is abhorrent to the Eternal. It is because of these abhorrent things that the Eternal your God is dispossessing them before you. You must be wholehearted with the Eternal your God.
And now comes the moment when Megan will read for herself for the first time as a fully Jewish adult, as a person who came to maturity in the land of Israel, among the people of Israel. And there she is, ready to read from the Torah in her own name. And then, of course, after we're done with the reading, she's also going to deliver Dvar with Jake. But we're going to wait with the blessings until they are both done, because we don't want to favor any of them. So without further ado, let me call Megan Nala Amot, Hana Bat Aaron Betanya, Habat Mitzvah Kriyat Bat Torah.
Amen.
Hagoyim ha'ela asher atay oresh otam el me'amanim ve'el chosanim yishma'u e'ata lo'en natan lecha Adonai Elohecha navi mikeracha me'achecha kamoni yakim lecha Adonai Elohecha elav tishma'un ככל אשר שאלת, מאיר אדוני אלוהיך וכולי, ביום הקהל לאמור לא עוזב, לשמור את כל אדוני אלוהי, ואת האש הגדולה הזאת, לא ארד עוד ולא אמות. ויאמר אדוני אלי, היטיבו אשר דיברו, נביא אקים להם מקרב אחיהם כמוך, ונתתי דברי בפיו, ודיבר עליהם את כל אשר עצבנו, והיה האיש אשר לא ישמע על דברי, אשר מדבר בשמי, אנוכי אדרוש מעמו, אך הנביא אשר יזיד לדבר דבר בשמי, את אשר הוציא לטיב לדבר, ואשר ידבר בשם אלוהים אחרים, ומת הנביא ההוא. וכי תאמר בלבבך, היכן נדע את הדבר אשר לא דיברו אדוני, אשר ידבר הנביא בשם אדוני, ולא יהיה הדבר ולא יבוא, הוא הדבר אשר לא דיברו אדוני, וזדון דיברו הנביא, לא תגור ממנו. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam atah b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
And now it is my pleasure. Yes, now English.
The nations that you are about to rule over listen to fortune tellers. The Eternal has told you not to act in this way. The Eternal your God will raise up for you a prophet from among your own people, like myself, whom you shall listen to him. This is just what you asked of the Eternal your God at Horeb on the day of the assembly, saying, "Let me neither hear God's voice nor see God's fire any longer. If I keep witnessing God's presence, I shall die." In response, the Eternal said to me, "They have done well in speaking thus. I will raise up a prophet for them from among their own people, like yourself. I will put my words in his mouth, and he will speak to them all that I command him. And if anybody fails to listen to the words he speaks in my name, I myself will hold him to account. But any prophet who presumes to speak in my name a prophecy that I do not command him to utter, or who speaks in the name of other gods, that prophet shall die." And should you ask yourselves, how can we know that the prophecy was not spoken by the Eternal? If the prophet speaks in the name of the Eternal, and the prophecy does not come true, that prophecy was not spoken by the Eternal. Do not be afraid to disregard this prophet's words.
And now, it is my pleasure, great pleasure, so great that I was actually wanting to bring it out a bit earlier. But it's now my great pleasure to call the Torah officially in his name, our bar mitzvah Jake. So without further delay, Na'amot Yaakov ben Aaron Betavia Har mitzvah lekriyat b'Torah.
Ki yakri Adonai Elohecha, et hagolim asher Adonai Elohecha noten lecha, et atzam risham v'yasavta ba'aretem v'matecha. Shalosh arim tavdil lach, v'tok atzcha asher Adonai Elohecha noten lecha, l'rishta tahim lecha haderech v'shishta, et gvul atzcha asher yamchicha Adonai Elohecha, היה לנוס שמה כל רוצח. וזה דיבר הרוצח, אשר ינוס שמה וחי, אשר יכה את רעהו בבלי דעת, והוא לא שונא לו מתמול שלשום. ואשר יבוא את רעהו, ויער לחטוף את סין ונתך ידו Garzen, min ha'et l'matzah, v'met hu yanus el achat ha'aviva. Hen yirdof go'el l'chaseach, ki yakem l'hango v'hisigo, ki yirbeh ha'derech v'higu nafesh ולא איש שונא אין משפט מוות כי לא שונא כבודו יטמון שמשון. על כן אנוכי מצווך לאמור 3 ערים אל תגדיל לך, ואם ירחיב אדוני אלוהיך את גבולך כאשר נשבע לאבותיך, ונתן לך את כל הארץ אשר דיבר לתת לאבותיך, כי תשמור את כל המצווה הזאת ועשית אשר אלוהי מצווך היום לאהבה את אדוני אלוהיך, וללכת בדרכיו כל הימים, ויסרת לך עוד 3 ערים על ה3 האלה, ולא יספק דם נקי בקרב ארצך, אשר אדוני אלוהיך נותן נחלה, והיה עליך דמים. וכי יהיה איש שונא לרעהו, ויער וערב לו מקם עליו והיכהו נפש, ומת ונס אל אחת הערים האלה. ושלחו זקני עירוב ולקחו אותו, ניסן ונטלו אותו, ביד גואל הדם ומת. לא תחוס עינך עירוב, וביאת דם הנקי מישראל וטוב לך. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהים מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם אתה בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה. When the eternal your God has cut down the nations whose land the eternal your God is assigning to you, and you've dispossessed them and settled in their towns and homes, you shall set aside 3 cities in the land that the eternal your God has given you to possess. You shall survey the distances and divide into 3 parts the territory of the country that the eternal your God has allotted to you, so that any manslayer may have a place to flee to. Now, this is the case of the manslayer who may flee there and live, one who has killed another unwittingly without having been his enemy in the past. For instance, a man goes with his neighbour into a forest to cut wood. As his hand swings the axe to cut down a tree, the axe head flies off the handle and strikes the other so that he dies. The man shall flee to one of these cities and live. Otherwise, if the distance were great, the relative of the victim could catch up with the manslayer and kill him. Yet he did not incur the death penalty, since he had never been beloved's enemy. That is why I command you, set aside 3 cities. When the eternal your God enlarges your territory and gives you all the land that he promised to give to your fathers, and if you faithfully observe all this instruction that I've given to you upon this day, and to love the eternal your God and to walk in his ways at all times, then you shall add 3 more towns to those 3. In this way, the land that the eternal your God has allotted to you will not see the innocents killed, and will not be stained with innocent blood that calls for justice. If, however, a person who is the enemy of another lies in wait for him, sets upon him, and strikes him a fatal blow, and then flees to one of these towns, the elders of this town shall have him brought out from there and shall hand him over to the blood avenger to be put to death. You have shown no pity. By doing so, you will remove the stain of unpunished killing from the innocent from Israel, and it will go well with you.
Jake, Megan, come a bit closer in a way that you can still be on the sensitive screen. Megan and Jake and Megan, I met you on Zoom when we were attending our home shul, or in the period when we were all online and everyone was so tired with all this online schooling, and still you showed up every Sunday and you contributed so much to our discussions. You were among our most committed home shul goers, or should I say Zoomers. And then I met you as Bromley's new rabbi in the capacity of somebody who was supposed to officiate at your Bnei Mitzvah. And I was immediately even more wowed by your hard work, your enthusiasm, your bright ideas, your commitment, your willingness to do whatever it takes to succeed. I don't have much to add, but I believe that you are true blessings to this community, and you are true blessings to everyone who knows you, your family, your friends, your classmates, your hater community, and now the entire community. And there is something that I want to read to you, because as a fellow twin, yes, I do have a twin brother who's probably watching us. I went into the Torah, the source of our tradition, to look for a quote about twins, and this is what I found. And it comes, of course, from the book of Genesis, and your name is Jake is Yaakov, so it's about one of the set of twins. Suddenly he had a brother, Esau, but it is about a twin named Yaakov or Jacob, and his fellow twin. So let's see what it says. The children struggled in their mother's womb, so she went to inquire of the Lord, and the Lord answered her to her, 2 separate people shall issue from your body. I think this is a powerful message of 2 separate people who shall go out. You at some point will leave your parents' home, and you will not be 2 separate people, but you will be 2 separate families, and you will lead 2 separate lives. And I wish, and I certainly hope, that your relationship will be as strong as it is today. And yes, as the story of Jacob and Esau teaches us, this relationship is not always easy. But we also know that at the very end, they at least found their ways to be together and to flourish together. So in this spirit, I would like to bless you both with the words of the Christian blessing that will be changed to plural to reflect your twin status and your unique relationship. So the rest of the congregation is good right now to be with Jake and Megan and Jake, the twins, as they receive their blessing. Yivarcheim Adonai Melech Ya'ar Adonai Panav Aleichem V'chut Aleichem Yisa Panav Aleichem V'yasim Lachem Shalom. May God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May God's face turn towards you and give you peace. And may you always be such an amazing blessing to your family, your friends, and to our community as you are today. We're so very proud of you. But we are not the only people who are proud of you, because Rabbi Nathan, who accompanied the twins on their journey, also wants to say something. He couldn't be here today. He couldn't be here today because of social distancing and numbers and so on. But he's very much with us in spirit. He watched the service, and he asked me to read out this blessing, which really encapsulates his relationship to you and his time with you. And so he says, "Dear Megan and Jake, it was a pleasure to teach you in preparation for today's Bar Mitzvah service. Bright, positive, and committed, showing real teamwork. You have what it takes to succeed in life, supported and encouraged by your parents and siblings. You have raised 2 rabbis, 1 Reform, that is me, and 1 Liberal, and the writings of a former rabbi who served both movements. I leave you with a blessing from the Liberal prayer book, Sidur Lev Hadash, confident that you will do all these things. May you continue to study our heritage and take its teachings to heart and pass it on to future generations, so that you be a source of pride to your family and friends and worthy members of our community, of our excellent progressive Jewish community." Rabbi Nathan Goldman, the South London Liberal Synagogue. And after we blessed Jake and Megan and Jake, from our community, from the extended progressive community, it's time for the family to bless them, and it's time for their very proud father to come up to the Bima and bless them.
A bar mitzvah corresponds to an age where a child begins a new level of Jewish obligation. An adult, in Jewish legal terms, is a person whose word can be trusted. Responsibility and trust are serious character traits. They take time to develop and must be nurtured through experience. An essential piece of that life experience is the development of grit. Becoming bar mitzvah during this pandemic has meant gaining something far greater than the typical Bnei Mitzvah route could ever deliver. You've been challenged with adult situations and adult choices. You've lived through crushed expectations, disappointment, frustration, and fear, yet chose to persevere. This is what births grit. You've spent months learning, developing, and preparing for this day. The journey you have made, with all its ups and downs, has earned you grit. The 2 marathons you cycled for charity made you choose between pushing forward or giving up. These are real-world challenges, and through this practice run, you have both grown stronger and earned grit. You made a conscious decision to continue forward, to persevere in the face of adversity. Grit is what we want you to have as you mature. Grit is how you will stand strong in the face of anti-Semitism. Grit is how you will choose joy over sadness or hope over defeat. Grit breeds responsibility. I'm so proud to stand with you both today, knowing just what you've been through to develop your grit. Megan and Jake, as you become bar and bat mitzvah, you join the many generations of Israel who have been called to the Torah before you. You are now a link in the chain that connects our past with our future, and you represent all that is promising and possible. Our beautiful twins. Embrace life to the fullest. Be interested in everything. Be curious, explore, and have fun. Make a difference, take risks, and be involved. Help other people and help this planet. Honor our Jewish heritage and traditions. Appreciate the extraordinary gifts you've both been given. Thank you for making us proud to be your family each and every day of your lives. We love you more than you will ever know. Mazel.
And now as the scroll is being pressed, will come our Torah reading.
Is the 4th of the 7 Haftarot of compensation read in the weeks following Tish B'Av. You can find it on page 1108 in the Exile. It is taken from the book of Isaiah, a prophet who lived in the time of the Babylonian exile and consoled Israel with comforting prophecies of the return to Zion. The Haftarot for Shoftim begins characteristically enough, I am he who comforts you. It continues using Isaiah's colourfully metaphorical language to describe people in turmoil who are saved by God, for instance, the crouching one who is freed, or an antelope caught in a net. Isaiah then promises that all these people will come to praise God. He also describes Jerusalem as God's chosen one, with the special status of, you who drink from my hand. There has been much destruction and chaos that has plagued Jerusalem, but God says the tormentors of Jerusalem will get what they deserve.
The Haftarah climaxes with the classic and often quoted declaration of triumph. Awake, awake, O Zion, clothe yourself in splendor, put on your robes of majesty. The verses that follow recall the burden of the exile and express hope for the greatness of the promised future redemption. The Haftarah concludes with a plea to God for the people's departure out of exile, which still has not been assured at the time of Isaiah's prophecy. Turn away, touch naught unclean as you depart from there, for the Lord is marching before you, for the Lord of Israel is your rear guard. The theme of the week's Torah reading is based around the fact that although Israel has many judges, there is only one true judge, God. Similarly, as the beginning of the Haftarah rhetorically asks, what ails you as you fear man who must die? There is only one true Saviour, and only one comfort, and this is in God. Now we shall read from Isaiah chapter 51 to verse 12, chapter 51 to verse 12 to chapter 52 verse 12.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher בחר בנביאים טובים ורצה בדבריהם הנאמרים באמת. ברוך אתה אדוני הבחר בתורה ובמשה עבדו ובישראל עמו ובנביאי האמת והצדק. I am he who comforts you. What ails you who fear man who must die, mortals who fare like grass? You've forgotten the Lord your Maker, who stretched out the skies and made firm the earth, and you live all day in constant dread because of the rage of an oppressor who is aiming to cut you down. And of what account is the rage of an oppressor? Quickly, the crouching one is freed. He is not cut down and slain. He shall not want for food. For I, the Lord your God, who stirs up the sea into roaring waves, whose name is the Lord of hosts, have put my words in your mouth and have sheltered you with my hand. I, who planted the skies and made firm the earth, have said to Zion, you are my people. Rouse yourself, arise, O Jerusalem. For you who from the Lord's hand have drunk the cup of his wrath, who have drained to the dregs the bowl, the cup of Midian. She has none to guide her with all the sons she bore. None takes her by the hand with all the sons she reared. These two things have befallen you. Wrack and ruin, who can console you? Famine and sword, how shall I comfort you? Your sons lie in a swoon at the corner of every street, like an antelope caught in a net, drunk with the wrath of the Lord, with the rebuke of your God. Therefore, listen to this, Onhander, who are drunk but not with wine. Thus said the Lord, your God, who champions his people. Herewith I take from your hand the cup of reeling, the bowl, the cup of my wrath. You shall never drink it again. I will put it in the hands of your tormentors who have commanded you, get down that we may walk over you, so that you made your back like the ground, and the street passed by. Awake, O Zion, clothe yourself in splendor, put on your robes of majesty, Jerusalem, holy city. The uncircumcised and the impure shall never enter you again. Arise, shake off the dust, sit on your throne, Jerusalem. Loose the bonds from your neck, O captive one, fair Zion. For thus said the Lord, you were sold for no price, and shall be redeemed without money. For thus said the Lord God, of old my people went down to Egypt to sojourn there, and Syrians robbed them, giving nothing in return. What therefore do I gain here? For my people has carried off for nothing, their mouth is howled, and constantly, unceasingly, my name is reviled. Assuredly, my people shall learn my name. Assuredly, they shall learn on that day that I, the one who promised, am now at hand. How welcome on the mountain are the footsteps of the herald, announcing happiness, heralding good fortune, announcing victory, telling Zion, your God is king. Hark! People will redeem Jerusalem. The Lord will bear his holy arm in the sight of all, and the very ends of the earth shall see the victory of our God. Turn away, touch naught impure as you depart from there. Keep pure as you go forth from there. You bear the vessels of the Lord, for you will not depart in haste, nor will you leave in flight. For the Lord is marching before you. The God of Israel is your rear guard.
Al Hatoran, the Al Hanini, the Al Hashanah, Hazesh, and Tatalan, and Adonai Elohim, Ikdusha, and Yukran, the Chavot, and Tiferet, Al Hakol, Adonai Elohim, and Nachnu Modiha, Ubarkim Otam. Itbarak Shimcha, the Fi Chai, to lead Leolam Vaed, Baruch Adonai, and Kadesh Shabbat.
And now let all stand as we say the prayers of our community this Sabbath.
May God, whose dominion is everlasting dominion, bless our sovereign lady, Queen Elizabeth, and all the royal family, her advisors and her counsellors. May God give wisdom to the government of this country, to all who need it, and to all who have responsibility for its safety and welfare. May God give us all the strength to do our duty and the love to do it well, so that justice and kindness may dwell in our land. May God's peace be in our hearts, so that every community of our nation may meet in understanding and respect, united by love and goodness, and keeping far from violence and strife. Together, may we work for peace and justice among all nations, and may we and our children live in peace. So may this kingdom find its honour and greatness in the work of redemption and the building of God's realm here on earth. May such be the divine will. Amen. Our God and God of the generations, we ask your blessing upon the state of Israel and all who dwell in it. Send your light and your truth to the leaders of the people, and guide them with wisdom and understanding, so that peace and tranquility may reign on its borders and in its homes. May the spirit of friendship and understanding remove all fears and heal all wounds. There may mercy and truth come together for the good of all, so that your promise is fulfilled. The Torah shall come out of Zion, and the word of God from Jerusalem. Amen. May God, who is tender and compassionate, just, merciful and slow to anger, give us the strength to persevere in our search to make peace where peace is most hard to find. We ask for your blessing on all those people of goodwill who seek to live in harmony with their neighbours. Most particularly, we ask for your blessing on those who, regardless of nationality or religion, steadfastly work for peace between the Israeli and the Palestinian peoples. May they undo prejudice and bitterness, and so turn themselves and others away from violence, that together we may all come to recognise ourselves in the other, shaped in your image as in your will, and let us say Amen.
And now we add the prayer for healing. God, may it please you to send healing to those who are in pain or in anxiety. Be their refuge through the time of trial. Make them secure in the knowledge that they will never be forgotten by you. For you are the shield of all who trust in you. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofeh HaCholim. Blessed be the Eternal One who heals the sick. And now Jake and Megan open the ark. We return to call the ark. And with the ark still open, Jake and Megan and Jake will say their names Shachar, which they will rework to fit their unique twin, Bnei Mitzvah.
In the presence of my teachers, the leaders, and the members of this holy congregation, I now prepare to take upon myself the duties which are binding on all the family of Israel. I ask their help in the years that lie ahead to strengthen my loyalty and devotion, so that I may grow in charity and good deeds. I think also of those who have gone before me, who through all the troubles of the world preserved this heritage of holiness and goodness, so that I should enter into it now.
May I be a true bar mitzvah, a son of the commandment, taking my place in the community of Israel, accepting its responsibilities, rejoicing in its blessing.
May I be a true bat mitzvah, a daughter of the commandment, taking my place in the community of Israel, accepting its responsibilities, rejoicing in its blessing. May I be a witness to the living God and to God's goodness, and to the tradition that lives within me. I remember all those who have helped me reach this time. I give thanks for the love and care of my family, the patience and instruction of my teachers, and the support and companionship of my friends. In the Torah, I have read the word of God. With God's help, may I go on to fulfill it in my life. Amen. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Elohim, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Eternal is our God, the Eternal is one.
Right now, Jake and Megan will close the ark, and they will close the ark as Jewish adults who pledge to defend the Torah and to spread the Torah in the world through their teaching, and so it's only appropriate when they close the Park, it will come. It will be our time and our pleasure to hear what they have to say about this portion.
Over the past year, we have been working towards this special moment, Bnei Mitzvah. We are going to explain what this day means to us specifically and what goes on in our Torah portion, Parashat Shoftim, which can be found in Deuteronomy, the second book. Today not only marks our transition from childhood to adulthood, but also we develop our understanding of the world and Torah.
In the beginning,
That sounds familiar.
most of our questions that we asked were honestly quite simple. As our knowledge grew, our understanding developed, and as we approached this day, our questions became more philosophical, whilst we unraveled our own interpretation of the portion.
As we began our journey through Torah, we saw a basic book of stories, rules, and some crazy Jews crossing deserts. Through our once inexperienced eyes, we have created this brief overview of our portion. Our story begins with the Levites who have recently been informed by God that they will receive no land among the other tribes. In this extract, we are told how the Levites should live, be treated, and survive at the Eternal's gifts. We are told that the Lord is their portion, and how and what they must give specifically to the priests.
Our story continues with the bardic practices, the prophets and oracles. You may be wondering what all this means. Well, in this case, a bard means forbidden and loathsome. In this section, it discusses examples of these practices and why they are forbidden. These include anything from casting spells to communicating with the deceased. If you do any of these things, you are and will be considered abhorrent, for you must be wholehearted with the Eternal. It then goes on to talk about how a new prophet will be selected from the people, and that if the prophet is preaching false truths from other gods or prophets, or not foretelling a prophecy that he was told, he would die. People asked how they could recognize a lie, and the Eternal said that if it didn't come true, it was not told unto the prophet. So do not be afraid to punish or hurt them as they have disobeyed God.
Finally, the story goes on to mention the cities of refuge for the innocent, responsibility of the town elders, murderers, and blood avengers. It says to survey the land and equally separate it into 3 parts, and in each of those 3 sections put one city of refuge, so that the innocent can flee. Our portion then goes on to explain the difference between an accidental murder or manslaughter, and how they can flee to a city and be protected by the town elders from the blood avenger, versus how a purposeful murderer cannot. The Torah then demonstrates an example of a murder and states how the town elder would kick the murderer out of the city to be killed by the blood avenger. Next, it continues on to say that we must add more cities of refuge as your land expands. This is so that no innocent blood is spilled, which would be in the community's hands, as they didn't have enough cities, causing the nation blood guilt.
Hey, I've heard that before.
Yes, that is because the book of Deuteronomy is, above all, a reiteration of the laws given by God to the Israelites in previous books of the Torah. These laws in particular are mentioned in Numbers and Exodus.
As we have studied and grown in maturity, we've discovered a different layer of meaning in our portion and how it can relate to our lives today. Also, we have recognized that the Torah sets before us a guide to be the best version of ourselves. Here we have written this view of our portion. First, we thought about the Levites and how they lived off the sustenance of the land. It talks about how they lived to serve God and travel and teach the way of the Eternal. We thought about the Levites and how the community supports them and helps them to do their fundamental jobs and everyday activities. This made us recognize how the Levites lived for the community's food, oil, and clothes. This showed a functioning system that only works by a whole community offering their help. This is a great example of the strong community that is the backbone of Judaism, and shows a snapshot of the utopian future when we all work together. Just as the community offered their help to the priests, we decided to offer our help to the Bright for our Mitzvah project. It is a deaf-blind community charity run by Vicky Ashton, the head teacher of our family, where people, including herself, help to teach people who are both deaf and blind tactile sign language and braille. We felt that this charity was not only close to our synagogue, but close to our hearts. Now, the challenge was to cycle 2 marathons over 4 days, The other target was to raise £400. Now, we smashed the £400 on day 2, which was amazing, with all the love and support that we received from everyone. For any of you watching right now, the Just Giving page is still up for you to donate your tzedakah to help us continue to exceed our 400 past 1,950 that we're currently on. You're all so amazing. Thank you.
Secondly, we have revealed a contradiction within our portion in the section of the moral practices, prophets, and oracles. Here, God says that any prophet who presumes to speak in my name, an oracle that I did not command him to utter, or who speaks in the name of other gods, that prophet shall die. This is where the contradiction occurs. The Eternal says not to be afraid to harm or punish said person, yet God is supposedly a forgiving God, but nonetheless he is putting this person to death for their wrongdoing. Could this be justified by the fact that it is one of the 10 Commandments to not worship idols and or other gods? Could this explain why God would put someone to death? If they do not worship only him and do not follow the ways of the Eternal, they therefore do not deserve forgiveness from the people or the Eternal. It states in our portion that you must be wholehearted with the Lord your God, and how you must not follow foreign practices or discard the only Eternal. You must also not ignore any of the 10 Commandments. So maybe the Eternal is still a forgiving one, but if you have rejected any of these, you would have to face the consequences.
Also in this section, we discovered 4 examples of incorrect behaviour. The portion talks about foreign practices which contain anything from magic to communication with the dead. It states that these are traits and jobs of the harsh people whom the Eternal has taken the land from to give to the Israelites. If they do these things, they are not following the Eternal's wishes, making them no better than the people who came before them, who were undeserving of the land flowing with milk and honey. This made us think of the people who are not abiding to the strict rules of the lockdown, potentially endangering hundreds and thousands of lives. It is tempting to break the rules, but this behaviour is abhorrent and selfish. Just like the Israelites, we should not follow these practices, as it would make us no better than the harsh tribes that were sent to inhabit this realm.
Finally, we realise that the portion talks of keeping the innocent safe in cities of refuge, and how it tells the Israelites to show no mercy to the murderer or murderers. It says to kill the murderer and states that it will go well with you. God says all of these things to avoid blood going to the community. This made us think about how small things can make such a huge difference. For example, if just one innocent person is killed, it can and will cause blood guilt throughout the entire community. We realise how important responsibility is and how big a difference one person can make in this time we're in. As the Talmud states in Tractate Sanhedrin, to save a life is to save the world entire. We think this philosophy displays very well the theme of community. It shows how if we work together as a community, as the blood avengers, elders, and the rest of the people once did, we could create a great system that protects the innocent and purges the wicked. Yet, if one person did not do their job correctly, this system would collapse. However, we would not recommend being a blood avenger for a profession, just in case anyone was thinking about it.
From the rules listed in the second section of our portion to the description of the community working together to create a system to avoid blood guilt, there was a great display of the power of a single person's actions. However, it also shows the far superior power of a group of like-minded people working together. For instance, supporting the whole tribe. From this, we conclude that the community is the most important and powerful part of Judaism. A group of people that working together is closer to God than a single person can ever become. This message was also very prominent in the book Putting You and God by Rabbi Tobias, which we read as part of our preparation for the Devar Torah. Rabbi Tobias states that communities exist to enable people to connect with other people, and when people come together, the possibility emerges of their being able to show kindness to and receive kindness from others. When people make the effort to bring goodness into the lives of others, they also bring it into their own lives.
Looking back over the past 12 years, it is the community of Bnei Reform Synagogue who have been such an integral part of our incredible journey to reach our Mitzvah today. We fondly remember our days in the Gun when we first arrived from South Africa. We took our baby steps into learning Hebrew through fabulous sing-alongs with Vicky and enjoyed the arts and crafts with Sue and Linda. Our learning about the Jewish culture and traditions continued most Sundays from Kita Aleph through to Kita Chet, thanks to the dedication and resilience of our teachers, Marilyn, Judy, Rona, Jean-Pierre, Katya and Sandra, who helped who helped us to embrace our Jewish identity. The Cheder has become our Jewish home away from home, where we have made wonderful friendships, celebrated many festivals, learned Israeli dancing, taken part in talent shows and puppet shows, decorated the sukkah, eaten loads of hot dogs and soup and cake, enjoyed the youth group, and so many more wonderful memories. This has all been possible because of our awesome head teacher, Vicky, who has a passion and commitment to the Cheder that has made it such a fun place to be. Thank you is not enough, but thank you, Vicky.
Behind the scenes supporting the Cheder is the Board, Education Committee, Religion and Ritual Committee, and of course, Michelle and Kieran. Thank you for everything you do to keep our Cheder growing and for all your support in making today a reality for us. Over the past 18 months of more frequent attendance at shul services, we have felt the support and encouragement from the Brooklyn Reform Synagogue members and services. We are very grateful for every handshake and Shabbat Shalom greeting and every welcoming smile. Thank you too to the dedicated choir who always leave us with a toe-tapping song to repeat all the way home in the car. Rabbi Nathan Godwin has been instrumental in our preparation for the Devar Torah today. Thank you for welcoming our family to your shul and for your time and energy in supporting us online with our preparation.
Rabbi Matty, thank you for conducting our beautiful service today under these unusual circumstances, and thank you for your thought-provoking and interesting Cheder lessons during lockdown. We welcome you to Bromley Reform Synagogue and look forward to spending more time with you at BRS after COVID-19.
How can we even start to express our appreciation to all of our family? From all of your unconditional love and support to your help and resilience. We know that together we can be a lot of hard work, but you still managed to push through all the pain and managed to resolve all of our arguments, even if it costs you 3 hours of your time. You've all been such an inspiration to us both, and we can't even begin to express how thankful we are. You've all played a massive part in helping us towards this day. Thank you all so much.
How can we possibly find words to acknowledge and thank Larry for his support, patience, encouragement, and commitment to our success today? Not only have you been with us every step of the way to perfecting all our Hebrew requirements, even up to twice a week online during lockdown, but you are also like a member of our family, having tutored Erin and Nick before us. You have a Bnei Mitzvah hat-trick of Frankel's that you have dedicated over 4 years of your life to. In fact, it was thanks to you and Andrea that we became a part of the Bromley community all those years ago. Thank you for being such a blessed part of our growing up into Judaism.
Unfortunately, COVID-19 has meant that no one from the community can be here with us today. But we know that you're all there, behind the camera lens and on YouTube, cheering us on and sharing our sukkah. The recent part of our Bnei Mitzvah in various stages of lockdown has taught us many things, and most importantly, the value of family, friends, and community.
The value of today for us is not about the number of people physically present, but about the love and support of our family and friends watching around the world, as well as being a part of the great community at Bnei.
In our portion, it states that you should be wholehearted, which can have many different meanings. For us, today is a promise to God and our community that we will be wholehearted, no matter what life throws at us in the years to come. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. And now, on behalf of the community, Michelle will come over to the Lima if we are able to handle the technical side of things. I think we are. So she'll come over to the Lima now to congratulate you, to bless you, and just to show how proud everyone at Bnei is today.
Excuse my delay in getting there. I had to move the camera for you. You may be standing here, you may think we're in an empty building, but actually, I can tell by the amount of messages coming on my phone as I've been sort of trying to help record this service, that your friends and your family around the world are with you, even though they're not here physically. They're sending messages of congratulations and actually, please can you move the camera? And so you know,
how did we find ourselves here? I don't know. What a journey we've been on. I don't think any of us expected that we would be standing with a piece of plastic glass between us. But all I can say is how very proud I am of you, and I'm not even your parents, but you've done so well. The journey you've been in, you haven't given up during the lockdown. You've studied, you've raised money for charity, you've fulfilled everything that you should do and beyond it. And apart from thanking you and saying how proud I am of you, I have to say, Ant and Tracy, you've produced 4 beautiful children. Not just beautiful, but in spirit. They have made you proud, I'm sure, and they've made all of us proud. I actually shed a little tear at the back because I know how much it means. This is the start of your journey here. You might think, oh, my goodness, this is done, but this is the start of your journey, the start of a fantastic life. I can't wait to see what you two are going to get up to. I'm sure it's going to be just outstanding. So thank you. I'm very proud of you. I have a gift from Bromley Reform Synagogue, which I will, give to your parents. They can disinfect it or whatever, But congratulations and enjoy the rest of your day where you can just relax
And now we invite the entire Frankel family to go on with Eva to have a proper hug, and we need to imagine a virtual hug of all the Frankels from all around the world hugging Jake and Megan and helping them pick up these sweets, because otherwise somebody's going to start on them. And the sweets on my side of the screen are mine. And now, after such an amazing we have energetic and relax down.
Sure, I don't know if you want to.
Because Elul, we will continue our service with Psalm 28. We'll read fragments from it. So, whom I shine. Do I seek to live in your house all the days of my life, your comforting presence before me, praying each morning in your temple. For God's shelter protects me in times of trouble. God stands concealing me, lifting me to safety on a rock. So now my head is held up high. God and answer me. Of you, do not hide your face from me. Do not turn away your servant in anger. Never leave me, never desert me, God of my safety. Even if my father and mother desert me, God will take care of me still. God, direct me in your way. Lead me in the path of integrity, for people lie in wait for me. So I trusted to see God's goodness in the land of the living. Wait for God. Be strong and let your heart take courage. Wait for God. We mentioned grit as an important quality, and I think Megan and Jake and Megan, have shown all the qualities that are depicted in this psalm that is supposed to guide us into the days of awe. And hoping for a day when the world will be better, and when we will all be able to meet in the house of worship, we move to our concluding prayers to Aleinu on page 310. Please stand. עלינו לשבח ולהדום הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים, ונתן לנו את תורתו, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שכונות השמיים ויוסף הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים נמעל, ושכינת עוזו בנבחי מרמים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו. ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום החשבות האלה בך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת, אין עוד. And now we take a moment to read the second paragraph of Aleinu, or just to express our hopes for humanity and this Trinity. And now the words of a true prophecy that Megan and Jake and Megan have enabled us to identify. We say, "V'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz, v'yom hahu yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad." So it is truly prophesied: the Eternal shall be sovereign over all the earth. On that day, the Eternal shall be one, and known as one. In a period of lockdown, we are very much aware of all those who would like to self-isolate with, of those who would like to join our bubble. Sadly, it is not meant to be physically, but they are with us in our memories, in our hearts, in acts of kindness and courage and grit they taught us, in everything that enables us to go on, to persevere, to enjoy life, to spread kindness, to show love. This Shabbat, as probably Reformed Synagogue, we think of those who passed away recently and in years past. We think in the period of Shushim, of Rini Geretsky, mother of Boris, and we also mark the orthodox of Jack Diamond, father of Suzanne Blackie. We mark the orthodox of Michael Harris, husband of Linda Harris. We mark the orthodox of Alex Hayden, father of Rob Hayden. We mark the orthodox of Josie Jacobs, friend of our synagogue. We mark the orthodox of Doris Levinson, mother of Louise Levinson. We also think of all those who we simply very much miss this weekend. All those from the Frankel family and Frankel and the circle of friends who are very much in your memories as you add this one chain of tradition. In this chain of tradition that passed this Jewish heritage from generation to generation. Recognizing that we are all a community of mourners and comforters, we say the words of Kaddish together, supporting each other, showing love, and passing down the memory of those who taught us how to love. Please say with me, יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועלמד דברת חיותי ויבליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומייכון, ובחיי ניחום בית ישראל, בהגלה ובזמן קריב, ויאמרו אמן. יחש שמי רבה מברך, לעולם ולמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי יקודשה וייחוד, לעולם עם כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, ויאמירה גאווה, ויאמרו אמן. יחי שלמה רבה בן שמעיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל העולם, ויאמרו amen. May the memory of our loved ones including the loved ones in the Frankel family, would be a blessing for all of us and be a blessing for Jake and Megan as they embark on their journey into adulthood. I will conclude our service with a concluding blessing. You can find the concluding blessing on page 322. And because Jake and Megan and Jake are both amazing outdoors and amazing indoors, both in study and in raising money for charity through their outdoor pursuits. So we bless them with the following blessing. Blessed shall you be in the city, and blessed shall you be in the field, so in the outdoors. Blessed shall you be when you come in, and blessed shall you be when you go out. ברוכים אתם בעיר, וברוכים אתם בשדה. ברוכים אתם בבואכם, וברוכים אתם בצאתכם. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you so much for accompanying us on this journey. Apologies for all the technical difficulties. We had to wait a bit, but it was so worth it.